this might be one of many future videos, or this might be the only one. I guess I can start by introducing myself. If you don't know who I am, my name is Lyndsay Royer. I am an artist and a substitute teacher, and I currently live in the center of Washington State. But I also lived in and plan on going back to Papua New Guinea. I lived and worked there as a media director for a prayer ministry. So why am I making this video? Because I believe that the Father in heaven is really wanting to encourage, through this pandemic and through all the political upheaval, through all that's happened. Basically everybody in some way or another has suffered during this time. And so we all kind of are needing encouragement. But right now, I believe the Father wants me to focus on single women. And why is that? Receiving empathy is something that's so much more powerful than receiving sympathy. The difference between sympathy and empathy is to sympathize with somebody is to feel sorry for them, but more of kind of an outside observation and saying, wow, that looks horrible, I'm sorry for you. Whereas empathy is a shared pain. It's a shared experience. And when you empathize with somebody, you feel their pain. The Lord's having me make this video as an encouragement to single women, because I am a single woman and I struggle. I think God has met me and encouraged me in certain ways. And maybe because I can come and bring encouragement out of a place of knowing and understanding, at least in some ways, the circumstance that some of us are in, that maybe it will be more powerful and more encouraging. If you believe in the God of the Bible, then you know that in Genesis 2, after man was formed by Elohim, by God, God saw that it was not good that man should be alone. So it's an amazing story actually. He creates all of the animals, but it says Adam could not find a helper comparable to him. And so the Lord put Adam into a deep sleep, and he took out one of his ribs, and he created a woman from the rib of this man. And then, famously Adam says when he sees Eve for the first time, bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. And so I believe in every woman there's this innate purpose of helping. Like, we were designed to help. I know I had certain expectations for my life, and that included, finding someone to help, finding a husband, maybe in my early 20s, and that didn't come. It's just what happened, and you have to deal with that, right? And some of this is just simply circumstances, and then part of this also too is just we live in a fallen world, and the way that God intended things to be is just not how they are. There is something that I feel like the Lord wants me to say as well, just because, because maybe you are a single woman and you are like, I don't really need a man. Like, I'm happy being single. You aren't super longing for a husband. Maybe you're at a place where you're pretty content, but that doesn't mean that you don't struggle with loneliness too. Regardless of how desiring one is of marriage, we all struggle deeply with loneliness, right? We all struggle with feeling the need to belong and to matter to others. It's the makeup of who we are. We are made to be in community. We are made to be in communion with our Creator first, and then with each other. That is a real thing. I know in our own personal cultures and different cultures within America at least, and I'm sure around the world too, and especially in the believing community, if you are not married, there is a little bit of a stigma. people aren't quite sure what to do with you type of a thing. Life is not just all about finding a spouse. And for those of my friends, you've known that, you see that, and you are contributing to this world in positive ways, which is, the Father smiles upon that. The basic things that I want to encourage you of, the first one is, know that you are not alone. If anything, my travels and my life thus far has shown me is that being a single woman in their even 30s, like there are many. And for example, one of the first projects I did when I was in Papua New Guinea was to videotape the wedding of a good friend of ours, and she was getting married in her 40s for the first time. There's just so much hope. I know the enemy wants to single you out, wants to make you believe that you are the only one in this circumstance, and that is bull. That it's not true. It's just not true. So I just want to encourage you to say that to the evil one. Say that to the enemy. That's not true. That is a lie. And remember that even when you don't see it, maybe you are surrounded with married people and then you're by yourself. Well, just know that you're not alone, because I think that makes a huge difference. I know it has for me once I saw it with my own eyes, these beautiful, strong women, and they're single and they're in their 30s and 40s and 50s. And so many of them, even though lonely, so content. The next thing is your life has and is not wasted in this season just because you are not married. Maybe you aren't one of those women who is a nurse or, has an important position. You're valuable. You are valuable in the kingdom, and you're valuable to society. There are roles that we fill that people who are married can't. And they're vital and they're valuable roles. If you weren't to fill them, who would? There's worth in what you're doing. And who I'm not talking to here is those who are sitting around, loafing around, not doing what they should be doing. I'm not talking to those people. If you are one of those people, I suggest go and do something. But if you are in a job that might seem menial, but if you are fulfilling it well and you're doing your job well, you are needed. You're needed by the Father in this. So, well, not needed. He doesn't need anybody. He doesn't need any of us, but He wants us. When we avail ourselves to His work, He uses us. And He's using you, and you're not married, and He still uses you. The next thing I want to say is there is hope. There's hope for the Father to bring the right man into your life for you to marry, and there's hope for a lasting, deep contentment, regardless of whether the right one comes or not. I've seen both, and I'm just so grateful. I'm so grateful to the Father for just putting different women in my path throughout my life, but especially the past 5-10 years, who either are still single, even some into their 50s and maybe later 50s, 60s, and though some of these women they do desire companionship, they're content though. If I were to have told my 13-year-old self I would be single at 34 now, I would have cried. I wouldn't have been able to take it. I would have just thought oh my gosh, I must be living under a rock. But I'm not. I'm not at all. And though I have these longings, the Lord is healing me, and the Lord, when the worst thing happens, it happens, and then you just think life can't go on, and you're there. And comes to find out, life keeps going on. Literally, when you're in those places, the Father can make you so much stronger, like more than you even thought you could even be capable of. And I've seen it in others' lives where the Father, he brings people together at the exactly right time, and it's the exactly right person. And even though it seems impossible, it happens. It doesn't matter how old you are. I mean, like I was talking about my friend who's in her mid-40s. I mean, it can happen. It can happen for you. Have hope. Have hope. When it comes to hope, I want to say something. Even if you've blown it, even if you weren't always single and you were with somebody and it didn't work out, or maybe you're a widow, there's still hope for you. There's still hope for you, because God is a God of redemption and forgiveness, of second chances. There's hope. There's hope. You have to seek Him for it. You have to seek only Him. I have seen it. I've experienced it, and I know I'm going to experience more, because hope is that anchor for the soul, right? When you have that, you can withstand all the shaking. Literally, we can't get that from ourselves. Come to the Father and ask Him for hope, because it's there. It's there for you. So the last thing, the most important thing, is focus on the lover of your soul. I'm speaking this directly to myself, because I believe that this is the very word the Father has for me personally in this season, is to get that right. My great uncle, something he told me concerning finding a spouse years ago, but has always stayed with me, is set your gaze, set your focus and your gaze upon the Lord, and run after Him. And as you are running after Him, one day you will look over and your companion will be running after Him too, in the same direction. Whether you are desirous for a husband or not, He is the bridegroom. He is the groom. God is only as close to us as we want to be close to Him. You have a deep, deep longing that can only be satisfied by Him. But He is not going to give more of Himself if you don't want more of Him. So pursue Him, seek Him. And all of the world, all of the media, all of your flesh is not going to want to do that. It's a battle. It's laying down everything. It's laying down your own understanding. Okay, my favorite verse is Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Trust in the Lord with all of your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him. And I like to say, when I'm quoting that verse, actually, if you look up the Hebrew, that word acknowledge, it's the word know Him. The same context for when Adam and Eve were first intimate. Adam knew Eve, his wife, and she begot a son. That word know is acknowledge Him. Know your Creator. He is wanting intimacy. He wants intimacy so much. Make time for Him. Be found in Him. Be found longing after Him. Ladies, let's be Mary Magdalene's. Come on. Being at His feet. And again, I'm speaking to the choir. I get so busy. And maybe it is to drown out my loneliness. But if we just sit there with our bridegroom, we see that He is enough for us. For years, I was a boy chaser. I mean, just got in trouble for chasing the boys, you know, in grade school. I was looking for fulfillment in guys that only the Father could give me. And I praise Him that I recognize that. And that is no longer in the equation. I'm not looking for somebody that fulfills every longing of my heart, because I'm not going to find that in a human being. And you won't either. I'm sorry, but find that in Him. Seek your bridegroom, because He's coming back too. He will fill you with a fuller love than any man will ever give you. You are loved deeply by the Father in heaven. Seek Him. If you seek Him with all your heart, you're going to find Him. If the Lord has it for you to have a husband, wait for Him. Don't desperately grab for Him, because what you're going to get isn't going to be what's right, and it's not going to be what you want. Wait for Him. And if you are one of the chosen to be single your whole life, know that so is Yeshua, so is Jesus. He was single his whole life, and He's still waiting for his wedding day too. And you will be a part of a wedding if you surrender your life to Him, if you abandon it all to Him and live your life for Him, then no matter what, you'll be a part of a wedding. You know, I'm going to pray for you guys. Father, I just come to you in the mighty name of Yeshua, of Jesus, your Son, Lord of heaven and earth, King of all kings. I thank you for each and every woman who's watching this video. Father, you know each of them so intimately. And Lord, I ask in Yeshua's name that they would seek you and find you as they seek you with all of their hearts. That they would come to know you and you them. Lord, and if you have husbands for them, God, give them the grace and patience to wait. And I pray that you would supernaturally move circumstances so that they can finally come and be together in unity and holiness. Father, and if they are the called to be single, God, I pray that you would strengthen them in a way that is so supernatural that they wouldn't even know what to do with the strength that's in them. Father, I thank you. Encourage my sisters in your Son's holy and awesome name. Amen. Blessings on you. Shalom. And again, maybe this is the first video I'm going to make. Maybe it's the last one. So I hope you enjoyed it.